Hello developers, and welcome back to Elixir Pro. In this video we're going to set up Cachex for our application so that we can cache some values and retrieve them without reaching to the database. But prior to that we're going to implement a basic caching system using Gen server, and we're going to be using handle cast and handle call to put our key values in our cache and to retrieve them, also to get the current state. And that we're going to be setting up some configurations so that you can have a general idea how we can set different types of caching in our application. But let's get started after the intro. So let's get started. The name of our application will be mix new, let's call Gen server Cachex --sup for getting the supervision tree. Let's sit into our application. And the first thing that we'll be doing is actually let's start our application here with mix ix-s mix. And then let's open our code with our editor. So the first thing that I'll be doing here is create a file called gen server for cache.ex, and we're going to implement a basic implementation of the gen server. So let's go for it. Let's start with mod. Let's use gen server. Let's create a dev start link, which we're going to receive some opts, and then let's do gen server dot start link. We're gonna pass this module here, the initial state of our gen server and the opts. Okay, because we defined this start link, we should implement now an init that grabs the initial state and returns okay with that initial state. Okay, so now if we recompile our application and we go for okay PID, passing our gen server for cache and do a start link. Whoops, and with no opts we get our gen server. Okay. So let's go for our public API. Let's call it for gaf. Let's get the current state. It's gonna pass in our PID. It's going to do a gen server dot call, passing our PID and the atom called current state. These need to be handled here at the bottom. So let's go handle call. We're going to receive this current state. We're not going to be using the from, and we're going to pass the state, and this thing should return a reply containing what we're going to be returning, which the second element is going to be our state, and the value of our state will not be updated, so it will stay as state. Okay, so if we recompile and we do now a gen server for cache and do current state passing our PID, we get our initial state. Okay, so let's do now the set key value. So def set, actually let's just be in conformance with the Cachex API. Let's go just for put, just for put, and we're going to be passing the PID, the key, and the value, and this is gonna call gen server dot cast, passing our PID. It's going to receive a tuple with 3 elements, where the first element is put key value with our key and a value. Okay, now we need to handle this cast, so def handle cast, receiving that 3 tuple, so put underscore key underscore value, key value, and this needs to return a no reply with the updated state. And whoops, and we forgot to pass the state here. What you're going to be doing is actually state. It's going to receive map.put on the state, the key, and the value. Okay, so if we go back now and recompile, we can do a gen server for cache, and we can do a put, passing our PID. The name of our key will be called foo, and the value will be called bar. And then we can do the thing that we did before, which is current state. We see now that on our state we have a key called foo with the value of bar. Let's do a get. So def get, we're passing our PID and our key, and we're going to be using genServer dot call, passing our PID, and it's a tuple containing the get key and the name of our key. So at the bottom here, we need to implement another handle call, which is going to be, the first element is going to be the tuple that we send, which is the get underscore key with the name of our key. And we need to update, and actually need to send here the value, which we're going to be using map.get, getting the state, and passing our key. That's everything that we need, so we can recompile, and we can do genServer for cache, passing our PID and the key full. Expected fire start. What happened here as a problem? PID get key, and then we're going to handle call get key. Compile. Fire start case underscore. Oops, I did not send the function, so it's get key, and we got the bar. So now we have like a basic setup for our genServer, right? So we can do again, can set like, for example, put, let's say that we are passing here the access token for user 1, and this should be like bearer, and then some JWT here, and then we just need to grab the token by going for the access token for user 1. Okay, but you remember that the first thing that we did here on this terminal was that we did a start link right after we start our IX. What I want to do next is to grab the name of our module, go to the application, and here you see we have a way to start our worker. So we can pass here the name of our cache, and we can pass a name. Let's say here the name is like my cache name. Okay, my cache name. And then what we can do, we can go back here to the genServer for cache. And instead of passing our PID, we can pass the name of our cache, which we said like is my cache name. Then we can get rid of this PID. Same thing we can do here. We can then change this thing here to my cache name. We can get rid of this PID. And again here, my cache PID. I think that's everything that we need. So if we restart our application now, we don't need like to get our PID. We can just do genServer for cache, and we can then get the current state. We see we receive like an empty map because this is a brand new cache. We can then do genServer for cache, and we can put the key is going to call once again foo, and the value should be bar. We can then get the current state once again. We see that the foo bar is there, and we can do the genServer dot server for cache. We can get the foo and return bar. So that's basically set up for a cache using GenServer. You could like get access to this value in a module just calling these methods that I just used on our IX. But now let's grab the library that we're gonna be using in this video, which is Cachex. So let's go Elixir Cachex. Let's go for the first link. Go here for installation. We need to grab this thing here and put in our mix. So let's go for our editor, mix file, and let's put here on the depths. Then let's stop our application, mix depths.get. One other thing that we need is we need to pass this cachex here. So let's go to our mix once again, and in extra applications, let's put the cachex. Whoops. And one extra thing that we need to put is add this thing in our children. So let's go for application, and let's put a comma at the end here and paste it. So this could be my Cachex name, okay. And then we can start application once again, ex-mix. And as we can test out here in the console, we can pass like cachex dot keys to get how many keys we have in our current state. And as you can see, oops, we need to pass the name of our cachex. So it's my cachex, how do I call it? My cachex what? Application, my cachex name. So you will have like nothing stored in our cache. With a bang, we just receive the keys in our cache. We can then do a cachex.put, passing my cachex name with a key called foo and a value called bar. And then we can do a cachex.get from my cachex name, passing foo, and return the OK bar, and with a bang we get just the value that we wanted. So what we can do now is re-implement our GenServer for cache, but instead let's call it Cachex. Oops, we are in Cachex, yeah. Let's call it Cachex cache.ex with the mod, and let's grab all the public API that we, oops, I did not get it all. Let's go here, and then we have the oh, we did not save that thing, so cachex cache.ex, go for mod, and let's grab all the public functions that we had in this GenServer here. So let's grab from the start link until the get, and so that once we try to implement the API functions, we just need to change here, instead of the start link will not be used because by default it starts our GenServer, and actually by default it's not using GenServer, it's using the ETS from Elixir. We can use the cachex dot keys, right, with a bang, and just need to pass my cachex underscore name for the current state. We can then do a put with cachex.put and calling the key and value, and we just need to, for the get is get, you can put a bang here now, and cachex passing the key. And once we try start application again, so recompile, we can do a cachex cache.put.current state, right? See that we have like a full value that we set just above in the IX. We can then do a cachex cache.put. Let's say now again, let's say that we're passing some access token, and this will be a bearer and something like this. We can then do a cachex cache.get, do passing our access token, and we received back the, oh, I think I didn't put the bang here. Compile, and we got the bearer access JWT token back. So that's how you actually implement some caching system in Elixir. This is a general view on the Cachex library. Let's just review what we did. So the first thing that we did was that we implemented a general cache system for our application using GenServer. These are the public APIs that we implemented using Cachex. And the way that we did here in GenServer is we created handle calls and handle casts. After that, we put in the application.ex the name of our cache so that we don't need to pass the PID in each time we are calling the GenServer. After that, we tried out on the terminal so that we can check that everything was working. Then we grabbed the Cachex library by going to our mix file and adding the Cachex and ensuring that the Cachex was started. After that, we got to the application and set up a name for our Cachex. Then we implemented a module called Cachex cache so that we Cachex cache so that we have the same public functions that we had in our GenServer. And you see that it's pretty easy to use Cachex. And one thing that we can also do here, you can actually pass a TTL here. So we can press here, for example, opts, and we can pass here opts. And we can, let's say that we are going to pass that access token once again, but now we're going to pass a TTL of timer dot seconds of, like, let's say 10 seconds. Okay, if we grab our token once again, like, because it's under 10 seconds, we are going to receive this token back, but let's wait like 10 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and let's rerun our application. We see now that we receive a new. So out of the box, we grabbed some of the functionality from Cachex. You need to actually check the documentation, just be sure that what kind of opts you can pass for the setting a key in our cache. But that was it. Thanks for watching and happy coding. Until next time, bye.